Yay, more Renaissance, high Renaissance and Mannerism, Northern Europe. Okay, so we're getting back to the Netherlands. All right, so we've got some awesome ideas for papers. So good. And here's our timeline. And our map. Did you know that the territory known as the Netherlands in the 16th century include Luxembourg, Holland, and Belgium? I never knew that. I just learned that today. I must have forgot. Okay, so here's Money Changer and His Wife by Quentin Massis. In Money Changer and His Wife by Quentin Massis, the viewer is being warned against the pursuit of wealth as a distraction from a religious life. It's always warnings against, if you're not religious, you're in big trouble. The everyday objects depicted in Money Changer and His Wife that are not a symbol of religion that commonly appear in Netherlandish art are the gold coins. That's really the only thing that's not symbolic. Okay, here's Matthias Gruenwald, the Isenheim Altarpiece. Ooh, so famous. How about that? So it's like the open view and the closed view. Amazing. So St. Anthony and St. Sebastian appear in Gruenwald's Isenheim Altarpiece because of their association with disease and miraculous cures. St. Anthony, who has been associated with the plague, has a prominent role in the Isenheim Altarpiece. So notice where we are here, where this is located. It's in the chapel of the Hospital of St. Anthony in Isenheim. So yeah, that all comes together and makes sense now. Okay, here's one of my favorite artists of all time. Van Eyck was my first favorite, and then Durer. Oh, look at this guy. I mean, you have to look at his paintings close up. Every little hair on the fur on his coat, every little hair and the curls on his head. Incredible. And it's almost like, I don't know, I don't want to say he was making himself to look like Jesus, but there it is. Here is his, it's just a little teeny painting, you know, it's like 1 by 1 feet, but so beautiful. Okay, here's his Fall of Man. So this is an engraving. Aside from his skill at drawing, Albrecht Durer's earlier training that contributed to his extraordinary proficiency at making engravings is he was a goldsmith. The work by Albrecht Durer, The Fall of Man, inspired Gossert's Neptune and Amphitrite. So we'll see that coming up, because you're going to remember that one. So here's Durer's Night, Death, and the Devil. Albrecht Durer created Night, Death, and the Devil, and this is also an engraving, so it's incised into metal. And here's his Melancholia, which you may have seen before. It's one of my favorite artworks of all time. In Durer's Melancholia the element that is interpreted as an optimistic note suggesting the artist can overcome depression is the light above the horizon. It's almost like here's a message for you in the sky, Melancholia. You can do it. Durer created Melancholia the in the medium of engraving again. Here's the Four Apostles by Durer. Durer shows his support for Protestant reforms by minimizing the presentation of St. Peter in this painting made for the Nuremberg City Hall. So very subtly, he shows his views. Okay, this is Lucas Cranach the Elder. This woodcut for this book, Law and Gospel. The artist who provided the illustrations for Luther's translation of the Bible in German is Lucas Cranach the Elder, this guy. The German artist who is referred by the title The Painter of the Reformation is Louis Cranach the Elder. Again, Painter of the Reformation. I don't know if that's a good thing. Okay, the Lucas Cranach the Elder's Judgment of Paris. Oh, you have to look this story up. You can't make this up. Here's The Witch's Sabbath by Hans Baldung Grien, the subject that became common in German art in the 16th century that involved macabre scenes and female nudity is witchcraft. And this is like a whole 100 years before like the Salem witchcraft trials. So it was popular for a long time. Okay, here's Hans Baldung Grien, The Three Ages of Women and Death. I swear this one was made by like a disgruntled boyfriend. The Baldung's oil painting Three Ages of Women and Death is a commentary on both the inevitability of death and vanitas. Vanitas paintings are symbolic reminders of vanity. So the transience, it's temporary pleasure, and a reminder to consider morality and to repent one's sins. So you can't be vain. This is Albrecht Durer, Battle of Issus. Albrecht Durer's landscape painting Battle of Issus is a reference to the contemporary conflict of William IV's campaign against the Ottoman Turks. Oh, we know a lot about that. Albrecht Durer derived the landscape depiction appearing in his Battle of Issus from a map in the Nuremberg Chronicle. So remember this, that book with the woodcut prints from the late medieval to the early Renaissance in chapter 20 last week. Took a picture from the Nuremberg Chronicle. Of course we are, pretty close to there. Okay, Hans Holbein the Younger, the French ambassadors. In the French ambassadors, Holbein has painted the two French ambassadors to England through the lens of the humanism school of thought. I don't know, they look like twins to me. But humanism, remember, is the study of what it's like to be human. Hans Holbein the Younger, this is Henry VIII. Pretty famous character, right? King Henry VIII is not considered a Christian humanist. Not. Hans Holbein the Younger did a lot of portraits of famous people, including this guy, but Martin Luther was not one of them. Oh, who doesn't know about this painting? This is the Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch. The physical format of Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights is a triptych. Oh, so much going on here. You have got to look at this close up. Very weird. Very, very weird things happening. Okay, so this is Neptune and Amphitrite by Jan Gossert. Notice that they say it was inspired by Albrecht Durer's Adam and Eve. No, Fall of Man. Same thing, actually. I don't know what he's wearing here, but that's it's a little bit weird. I'm sure the man had to wear something. Okay, here we've got St. Luke drawing the Virgin Mary. Another Jan Gossert. Pieter Aertsen, Butcher's Stall. Okay, this is a famous Netherlandish work. In Pieter Aertsen's Butcher's Stall, the element that is a reference to degenerate life is the oyster and mussel shells. So whenever you see oyster and mussel shells, there must be a degenerate living there. Okay. They're not cheap anymore, though. The New Testament scene depicted in Pieter Aertsen in the background of the Butcher's Stall is the flight into Egypt. So you'd have to look very close to see what's going on in the background here. But isn't that interesting? Okay, Katharina von Humesen, self-portrait. The first known European self-portrait by a woman is purportedly by Katharina van Humesen. And she does look like a pious woman, doesn't she? I swear. Okay, this is Elizabeth I as a Princess by Lavina Terlink. The portrait of Elizabeth I as a princess, showing her as an elegant, formally attired young Elizabeth, was created by Lavina Terlink. The size of this portrait is life-size. Okay, so it doesn't show her entire body, more like 3/4, but yeah, almost 4 feet tall. Joachim Pétanier, Landscape of St. Jerome. Albrecht Durer described Joachim Pétanier as a good landscape painter. So hey, if you get Durer's recommendation, then that's pretty big. The saint's story that Joachim Pétanier subordinates to a wide and detailed landscape depiction is of St. Jerome. Here he is. But wow, very cool. Okay, Pieter Brugel the Elder. Brugel. Okay, Brugel is super famous. The body of knowledge that Pieter Brugel the Elder draws from to create the many vignettes in this painting are proverbs. So you totally have to just look up each little scene to find out what proverb, that it relates to, just like a saying. The artist who traveled to Italy, Pieter, he went to Italy, but he didn't, he chose not to incorporate classical elements into his work. He was like, nope, not impressed. Pieter Brugel the Elder, The Fall of Icarus. This is, such a beautiful painting. And if you don't know the story of Icarus and his wax wings melting by the sun and falling into the water, it's very interesting. Here is Hunters in the Snow by Pieter Brugel the Elder, and this painting, it's one painting that cannot be viewed as a moralizing work during this period. A lot of Pieter Bruegel's paintings are about, the moral of the story is don't do this, but not this one. Okay, so here's Jean Clouet, the Francis I. This one's a really famous one. The artist who created the tempera and oil painting of Francis I is Jean Clouet. In his painting, Jean Clouet presents Francis I as a worldly ruler. He looks ginormous. Look at those puffy sleeves. Francis I was a European monarch who was a patron of sculpture and the decorative arts, a passionate collector of paintings, and a builder on the grand scale, as well as declaring Protestantism illegal within his realm. It's funny how everybody gets an idea what religion we're going to follow here is mine. The monarch who made a concerted effort to elevate his country's cultural profile by inviting esteemed Italian artists to his court is Francis I. So don't think they're not keeping track of what they're doing in other countries. So this is the Chateau of Fontainebleau by Breton. This is Chateau de Chambord. The roof of Chateau de Chambord is a product of the French Gothic residential and architectural style. What? Residential? That is quite a residence. Okay, here is Pierre Lescot. This is Cour Carrée. The component of the Cour Carrée of the Louvre can be considered a Northern European feature rather than a reflection of Italian Renaissance architectural models. So the things that are different are the steep roof, so kind of hard to tell from this angle, but the roof is really steep, and the large windows. So those things are features that are different and unique. Okay, here's the nymphs. This is from the Fountain of the Innocents by Jean Goujon. Notice here it says in situ. That is Latin for on site or in position. So these figures are depicted in the position they would have been in the story. Okay, this is a portal. Portals of Spanish Plateresque Linklater-esque facades generally took the form of a carved retable against a blank stone wall. So remember, the retables from a few chapters ago. This is another portal. Noticing we're in Mexico now. But again, it's like a retable. And here we have El Escorial. Wow. Quite an estate. The dominant European power at the end of the 16th century, controlling an empire of vast extent, is Spain. The construction material used for El Escorial complex is granite. El Escorial is in the present-day country of Spain. Again, built to last. Okay, here's El Greco's view of Toledo. This kind of blew me away, learning that Toledo was a city in Spain, not just recently, but long ago. I always thought Toledo was in Ohio, but nope. Originally, the Spanish city El Greco has depicted in this painting is Toledo. And this painting also has a huge story behind it. Okay, what's going to happen to Toledo? Something's going on up here. I like to talk about this with younger kids. Okay, El Greco's burial of Count Orgaz. Amid the realism of the earthly realm in Burial of Count Orgaz, El Greco's careful delineation of individual features reveal his talent for portraiture. So you would have been apt, look closely at each person and recognize who it was. Many aspects of El Greco's work, such as the placement of elongated figures in an undefined space, are characteristic of the Mannerist style. Okay, finally, we've got additional notes and discussion questions. Okay, great ideas for paper writing. Okay, that's it.